Good evening, everybody. I'm telling you, it's starting to be a great day. Don't you agree about that? I bet you do. Well, today I'm going to teach you how to make pizza from scratch. That's right. And the best part is, it's going to be without the yeast. And I know you're probably thinking, what? How can we make pizza without yeast? I mean, yes, yeast helps with the flour to grow and everything, for the dough. But there's sometimes it's hard to find yeast. So what's there to do? Just gotta make it without it. And that's what I'm here to do. I'm here to show you how you could do the pizza or any other food that I cook in a good way where it's not going to, where you could rearrange your ingredients. Still going to come out, but still, a few ingredients less. So let's get started. All right. First, we're going to need about 2.5 cups of flour. All-purpose flour is good, or if you have self-rising flour, that would be even better. We just get our little cups and put them into our measuring cup here. You just start adding it in little by little. That's all you got to do. Once you get to 2.5 cups, then everything should be good. Then get ready. All right, now that we've got our 2.5 cups, here's the half. There's the 2 cups, and there's the half cup. Now let's start finishing up. We're gonna add 3 teaspoons of baking powder. So we're just gonna sprinkle that in. And after the baking powder, we're gonna add a teaspoon of salt. Or if you want, you could add some sea salt to, give it a little flavor. Of course, I have this little grinder here. It does pretty good. We're just going to add it inside. Now, here's the creative part. With the pizza dough, you could add just about anything else to give it a little bit more flavor. Like, I'm going to add some parsley into it. So we're just going to put a little bit of parsley. I mean, hey, it's Italian. So we got to add some Italian dressing or Italian flavors into it. I got a little lemon and pepper seasoning. You don't need too much because it might be a little too spicy. And also, just want to remind you also, as you're doing all this, make sure you preheat your oven to 400 degrees. As you're doing all that, we got a little garlic and herbs seasoning. You can put it inside there. Like I said, be creative. Put in whatever you like. That might help to make a little seasoning. I got a little garlic powder here. I'm just going to put a little bit in there. And of course, we must not forget about the adobo. That's also a little good for flavor. Just add a little bit of touch here. And the onion powder. Like I say, you don't have to follow my recipe. You could do it the seasoning. You could add in any kind of seasoning you want. And now we just take it and we just mix it together. So that way it'll form into the dough. Alright, we're going to set this to the side now. Now we're going to add the rest of the ingredients, which I have here is my 3/4 cups of water. As well as that, we're going to add 1 tablespoon of olive oil, which is right here. I'm just going to add that olive oil into the water. Now, when I say olive oil, I don't mean the olive oil that you use that's with Popeye. I know, you're probably going to hear crickets also with that. But it's fine. Now with all that, of course, I'm just going to mix it up a little bit. Now this is why I always tell you, you got to make sure you have your hands clean and also your work counter clean also. Because now it's time to be like a little kid and start playing around in the food. I have gloves, so that'll make it a little bit more better. Just put in the glove. Or if you want to be daring and use bare hands, like I said, make sure your hands are clean. So wash them for 20 seconds. If you don't know how long that is, just sing happy birthday in your head. That'll tell you the time. Or if you want to go a little longer, do it twice. Alright, with that, we're going to add the wet mixture inside. Now we're going to stick our hand in and start mixing. Now more likely you might want to start off with the whisk, but for me I like to use my hands because then you can actually get into areas where the whisk can't. Here's the good thing about it too. If it's not completely the way that you like it, you know, the way the dough is, it's still crumbling up a little bit. You don't want that to happen. You know what you do? Add a little bit more water till it gets to a good consistency. That's why, like I keep saying, that's why you always got to make sure your work area, your hands, everything is clean. Because you may never know what's going to happen. I got a little bit more water. We're not going to pour the whole thing in. Just a little bit at a time. Now when you do the water, make sure it's also warm water. We're just going to mix. Alright, as you can tell, I had to add a little bit more water to it because it was a little dry. But how can you tell when it's ready? When your dough's ready? Easily. As you're mixing, nothing's sticking to the bowl. Just going to do now is the next part, which is getting a little bit of flour. We're going to sprinkle it on the counter. See? You got to make sure you can use soap, water, scrub it really good. The counter, so that way it's no germs. If you have like a little bit of Clorox bleach or something, put it on there, wait till it dries. Just a few safety tips. You're going to take the dough out. Now you're going to knead. We always need to knead the dough. And the reason why we also put flour is to help it to form a little bit. Now you got to keep kneading and keep going with that. If it sticks, it's okay, because like I said, it's going to get a little bit stronger, or it's going to be forming more into a dough. But at the same time, just knead, fold, knead. Like I said, it's always good to have flour around. Like I said, before you get started, preheat that oven. I know I'm going to be repeating myself, but just want to let you know. Alright, now once you have it into a ball, most likely if you want to, you could cut it in half, use half of it for now, and then the other half for another time. You know, you could save it for later, like for later on in the week. But it all depends. Now comes the good part. Let me just set this to the side. Let me clean up a little bit of this. Because what I'm going to do, since I don't have no round pizza pan, what I'm going to do is get some wax paper or parchment paper. I'm going to lay it down here. Trust me, when you see this, you're gonna be like, wow, I never thought about that. And put the pizza on there. Rolling pin. Look up really quick. Rolling pin. You know what, guys? Think about this. Back then, when the guys got in trouble, the wife always grabbed one of these. So this is basically the worst enemy for us guys. But today, it's going to be our friend. Alright, so let's start rolling. Alright, so we just got to grab a little bit of flour. What we're going to do now is take it and just dust the rolling pin with the flour so that way the dough won't stick to it. And just start rolling into a dough. Start rolling it out. Now, to be honest, I'm not good with making circles, so just bear with me. But I'm sure there's a lot of guys or a lot of female or anybody out there who has a hard time making a circle, which is fine. We all don't have to be perfect, but what we can do is actually the pan that I'm using is actually not a circle but a rectangle. So we're going to do like sort of a rectangle pizza. Now you can use your hands also to form it out. Like I said, I'm not good in shapes. I'm sure a lot of people are, but you know what? It's for you at home, so however you make it, it's okay. All their people wants to do is just make sure it's good and it can be eaten. And if it doesn't, if you got that, they're not going to complain about how it looks. Alright, now I'm sure that looks good, right? What do you guys think? What do you think? No, what do you think looks good?
I think it looks really good.
Alright. That person that you hear, he's my camera guy. He's a great guy. He's been doing all of my taping, so make sure you give him a good thank you for helping me out. I appreciate his help. And he's doing an excellent job with this taping, with the video, helping me out with the video. Now, if you want to make a crust, it's up to you. Now we're going to grab our little pan. Like I said, it's a small pan, but still, a pan is a pan as long as it works for whatever. We're going to take it, put it right inside there. Try and even it out really good. And what do you know? It almost fits this. It almost fits the whole length of the pan. Wow. And I'm going to be. All right, now then. Now here's a little secret. Sometimes they'll tell you once you get done, you can put the toppings on there, then throw it into the oven. No, there's a better way, and I'm going to tell you the truth. I've done this a few times where it hasn't come out that good, you know, following the instructions. Nope, I did it my way. It came out a whole lot better. I mean, I'm not saying their way is bad, but this is how you're going to do it. Once you get done, you're going to take it to the oven. All right? To make sure that cooks all completely, you're just going to put it in the oven Let it cook a little bit. We'll say about 10 minutes. All right, we'll set our timer for 10 minutes. All right, and also, all right, now while we're waiting, I just gotta tell you this. If you're liking this video, please like, subscribe. When I say like, give it a thumbs up. Hit that subscribe button. Hit the bell notification. Comment, make some comments. Let me know how much you appreciate this, me coming into your kitchen to cook for you. All right, so we'll be back in 10 minutes and see how it looks.
Action.
All right, folks. Right now, like I said, I have the pizza dough in the oven. Just the dough itself, so that way it could cook first in there. Now it's been about 10 minutes. Let's pull it out and see. It's not going to be completely cooked, but that's okay. That's how we don't want it to be like. That's our crust. All right. Now here's a little trick also. When you're about ready to cook, grab a fork, stick some holes in there too. That'll help it out some. If you have one of those little rolling pins that has the pins or needles in it, and you can roll it, that's even better. But we gotta do what we gotta do, right, folks? You can't afford all these things that are in restaurants, so we just gotta do that. Not saying nothing bad about the restaurant's food, because I know they're all delicious. But when you make stuff at home, you know it's going to be even better, because in a way, especially in store-bought, you don't know how long it's been in the store. You don't know what's in the ingredients inside there. Alright, once we get that done, now comes to the next part. Now, normally you can make your own pizza sauce. I'll probably do that in a later video. But for now, we're just going to do some sauce from a jar. Just going to sprinkle it on. Grab your spoon and just start rolling it out there. Now that's a good amount of sauce. You know, you could leave at least a little bit of from the edges out, so that way you could have a good crust on it and be able to hold it. Next is you're gonna add the cheese. Now, if you want, when you grab, you could get a grate of cheese and grate them on your own. Get a cheese grater and grate them, or just buy another thing of cheese. And just grab it and just put some shredded cheese on here. You can put as much as you want on here. Now I'm thinking we could use more cheese. Just a little bit more. Now for toppings, you can put any kind of toppings. Right now I'm going to do cheese and pepperoni. Now you can do half pepperoni, you can do all pepperoni. You could add like peppers and onions, maybe a little olive oil. But whatever you do, whatever you do, folks, never, ever put pineapple on pizza. Pineapple does not belong on pizza, so remember that. Alright, that's a good amount of cheese. Now for the pepperoni. Like I said, everything you do, right now I'm doing it like, this is the home way. Instead of you getting everything and cutting and slicing, I bought the store-bought. Yeah, I'm like everybody else. I'm not trying to be fancy. We're just going to start putting half of it with pepperoni. Alright?
Action.
Alright, folks. Now look at that. Doesn't that look good? You did half pepperoni, the other half cheese. If you want to do a little bit more fancy, you could do two whole pizza. One's whole cheese, the other one's all pepperoni. Like I said, it's your pizza. You do it the way you want to, but I'm just trying to help you out to show you how it's done. Alright, now with that, we're going to take it back to our oven, which is set for 400 degrees. We're going to grab our pizza tray, put it inside. Set the timer, let's say for 20 minutes. No, we'll do 30 minutes. And 30 minutes, we're going to check it out. I mean, in between, like let's say at 15 minutes, check it, see how it looks. Come back in 20 minutes, check it out, just to see how it's cooked. You don't want to cook too much or have everything burnt. That's why you got to make sure you check. But I hope that it comes out to your liking. Alright, so we'll see you back then. Alright, folks. It's about 30 minutes now, but I've been checking in between. So let's take a look at this. And let's see how it looks. Tell you one thing, the topping looks great. Doesn't that look good? I'm telling you, I can't wait to bite into it and see how it looks. Alright, so then... Stop. Alright, folks. So you saw how the pizza looks. It looks pretty good. Like I said, with this, when you could do stuff at home, it looks a whole lot better because you know what's in it and how it's done. So now let's cut into it and see how it looks. Now I wasn't able to get a pizza slicer or pizza cutter, so a knife is good. What we're just gonna do is cut down the middle. Of course it is hot. Woo! Alright, we finally broke it in half. We'll do this part here. Yep, just like in the pizza shop. When you cut, the cheese always slides off. Alright. And we'll do a small piece here. Alright, let's see how it looks now. Alright, it's kind of hard to tell because the cheese melted on the side. But mostly, if it looks a little too doughy, you gotta keep it in a little longer. But let's see how it is. Woo! Hot. It's a shame it's no meatballs on there because it's not going to be like, now that's a spicy meatball. But anyway, it tastes pretty good. Alright, let's take a look at this other slice. Maybe it looks a little better. Huh. What do you think, folks? It looks good. Nice and crunchy. And it does taste pretty good. I mean, with all of the seasoning that I put into the dough, you could actually taste it. So that's a good thing. That's a plus there. But it is good. All right. So right now, I just want to say to everybody is thank you for allowing me to take time to show you how to do things and allow me to be in your kitchen. So until next time, we'll make this video. We'll see you again. And just to let you know, I'll be posting videos once a week. But don't worry, once things starts rolling in, you'll be seeing more of this nice looking face. That's right. I'll be cooking for you almost every time. But now, I'll see you next week. So love you guys and stay cooking.